Christmas is closing in, and this is the most metric ham radio show on YouTube. Welcome. I actually planned that a lot better in my head, but it didn't come out as smooth as it was supposed to sound.
It was just fine. I'd just like to point out that we are, in fact, now 5/6 metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
If
right.
that doesn't sound imperial, I don't know what. But, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
we got to guess away from being completely metric.
Yeah, we got a guest down here, Mihai. He's going to talk a little bit about LoRa and LoRa APRS Meshtastic, and probably a lot of other subject as superficial as we can make it in less than an hour, because we're going to go off topic at some point anyway. So how about we start off with our ham radio weeks. And Bob, since you have an announcement regarding the guest at mode, you could probably start with your week as well.
Oh, yeah. I'll do the announcement first then. There's, I think the level of participation in the guest at mode has been somewhat lacking. So I think we're going to have to come up with something a little bit different that is a bit more engaging. And we will like to solicit some suggestions. So any suggestions for any sort of segment along this, a little bit along the same lines? Anything that we can have a contest where we can get a winner, where you can claim some fame and fortune? I don't know. Any ideas? Clearly, the guest app mode was not really that engaging. So we're open to ideas, and so the competition is taking a break until after New Year's, and we'll come up with something. If you have ideas, please share them in the comments or on email or both. Let's see. Ham Radio Week. That penguin is scary, Kjetil.
Will we ever
eat you?
duck?
Oh, yeah, all right. That was the duck thing. Let's see, my ham radio week. I managed 4 summits. I took some days off work, and I managed 4 summits. I'll have to refer to my notes. Lima Alpha Bravo Uniform 128, Lima Alpha Bravo Uniform 146, Lima Alpha Oscar Lima 047, and Lima Alpha Oscar Lima 043. The last 2 of them I did in the same day, and that, when you weigh 110 kilos and are really out of shape, was not a good idea. So I contracted a cold, which put an end to my summits activities for this week. But yeah, there are more days. Still 3.5 months of bonus season in Norway. So
but speaking about out of shape, I thought Vince made that clear last week that round is also a shape.
Round is also a shape, but he also made it clear that round doesn't do summits, and I'm here to prove that wrong. So round does summits just fine. It just does it a little bit more slowly and with a lot more danger of injury. So,
but you're in better shape because you're in the metric system. Though, like I weigh 220 pounds, so
that's another huge advantage of the metric system, right there. I think that's about it for me. I put the FDM 500 in the car finally, so I'm driving around with that now. Yeah, it is a nice radio. It's a really, really strange radio, a really strange interface. I was sending an IPRS message today, and of course, I think I've said this before, but the on-screen keyboard, the keys are alphabetical. There's no QWERTY there. They're in alphabetical order. So you can't make this shit up. It's just amazing.
It's Japanese engineering at its best. No, it's not.
No.
A Toyota is Japanese engineering at its best.
That is true. But still, I think it's a fantastic radio. I'm not regretting getting it. But the user interface could use some work. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's while I have the floor, can we everyone can congratulate Mihai, our guest. He just managed his SOTA goat.
Mountain goat.
1,000 SOTA points. So I think that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's applause. Congratulations to Mihai. Yeah.
Excellent.
Now I'll shut up. And
1,000 more points than I have.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
that goat.
yeah.
Let's see. Walt, how has your week been? You've been visiting some AM radio stations.
Yeah, I actually did. Yesterday, spent the day walking through a transmitter and an antenna site for a local medium wave station here, WGH, which stands for the world's greatest harbor. And it's one of the few stations, actually, as you know, most radio stations in the States are 4 letters. I mean, Morton, you would know, you were up in Chicago, although Chicago's got WGN, you know that. We've got WGH. It was just a few stations. This station's been around since 1928. But they have a 3-element vertical phased array directional antenna there. It was pretty cool. And I got to walk all around them, go right up to them. I mean, the video I did is just, like 8 minutes long. I have hours and hours of videos. I probably should send it all to Louis Ringway, because he could probably put them in video. I've got so much video of it all around those antennas, and it was pretty cool. So that was exciting. It really was. It was a lot of fun to do that. Other than that, I worked a lot. I am off next week. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I've been putting in 55, 60-hour weeks here the last few weeks. So I will get to play some next couple of weeks, get to play a lot of radio. I'm looking forward to that. Flying to New York City tomorrow, spending 3 days up there. My wife and I will go to Rockefeller Center, see the tree and all that good stuff, and play. Hey, I see this Lee, WWL, the big one in New Orleans, 870 kilohertz. I don't know if he knows that, but I used to live in New Orleans myself. I lived in Metairie, which is a suburb of New Orleans. So I'm a New Orleans Saints fan as well. So enough about American football and all that. But hey, thank you, Andy, as well. All right, I'll shut up now. We can get on to the next person.
And it seems like you have started a trend in YouTube, though.
I have. It seems like I was kind of the first guy that said I'm not going to take the bait and all the free stuff and try to make money and all that good stuff. And then the guys that are doing it along with me are the guys that I actually enjoy watching on YouTube, though. So I'm glad they're doing it as well. You're one of them, Morton. I'm like, we're gonna just like, I don't want this to sound political or nothing, but we're going to make YouTube great again. So we're going to,
How can you not sound political with a statement like that?
Well, it was a joke. But anyway.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, great video, Walt. And I'll touch base on that when it's my turn here as well.
Yeah.
Mihai, would you like to go on and talk about your ham radio week?
Yeah.
Perhaps introduce yourself a little bit as well for those who don't know who you are.
Yep. I was on YouTube several times, just few times. I think I'm 3rd or 4th time on YouTube. Twice with my club in Romania, Yankee Oscar 5 Kilo Uniform Charlie. We had like a yearly meeting several times, and you can see there are some stories about SOTA and how to do, what to do. Few things like introduction will happen later this year. The same. It's kind of small club, but sometimes we are enough to show up on YouTube. About me, not so many things. I'm living in Norway for 8 years now. I got Norwegian call sign for some years. I'm using it very much, especially when I'm in Scandinavia. And yeah, big fan of portable. I started with POTA this year. The dream was to have a mountain goat on a mixed summit. Gaustad Open was, in fact, the dream, but was not possible. I was very close, but not possible this time. What else? The week was pretty simple. I had to work a lot, and I just managed to start my hotspots here. I have a DMR one. I have one CVX link on a Romanian network. I have a tiny GS receiver and the iGate. The plan was to start the iGate with the last software, that one that it's mixed, the iGate and Digipeater, but will be another try. It's with the same old software from Peter, but it's working. The position is not very good, but that's it. And this is it. Short week with a lot of job things.
Yeah, it sounds
and
familiar.
travels. Yep.
Kjetil, any soda poda this week?
No, not really. As you can hear and probably see, I've been sick most of the week. So I was planning to do a lot of fun things this week and had a lot of activities planned. But yeah, it's been home office all week and a very limited amount of activities. So the only ham radio related I did was a presentation on Wednesday, I think it was, for the local emergency communications group about JS8 call. That was really interesting, and I think we're going to try it out and see how that can work, just to get some exercise in actually using that mode for communication locally, because it actually needs some setup and training for people to be ready for it. Other than that, filmed a very short episode about winter preparation. I've also decided, of course, not to let my zero advertisers corrupt me for YouTube. For me, that's not a big question, and I don't think it ever would be, because I'm too lazy to do all of the tech stuff that you were talking about doing. So yeah, but I do fully agree with you guys that it's important to be transparent and to do the choices that you do about advertising, because it can basically break this part of YouTube. Yeah, so that's me. I haven't turned on the radio all week. Lovely ham radio week.
But we've seen your winter prep video, and that video is really good. At least the last one, where you talk about preparing for the worst.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about, and so many people over prep. They bring absolutely everything, and if you go up to a summit and bring 5 kilos extra of gear, then that could be what kills you if you don't really need it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and very nice to have Mihai here. I think the last time we met was in Oslo on the SOTA activation there. One of the extreme hard ones in Oslo, where you park near a cafe and drink coffee and activate. Yeah, so that's my week.
Yeah. Tobias, anything this week?
Yeah, very short ham radio week, almost non-existing. Yeah, the most I managed was to set up the mood light and strung up some Christmas lights. But I've lined up some tasks for the holidays. So there's number one, that's the Christmas star build. So as you can see, I got lots of LEDs. And yeah, the PCB has finished production and is on its way. So let's see. I hope it arrives maybe after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, so that we can do the build of that. And what else do I have? Yeah, then I got the QMX kit delivered. That's a high band version that you wanted, Bob.
Ooh.
And I've printed out the manual first, and oh boy, I printed it two-sided, and it's like 70 pages, and it's a super dense PCB. So I think they tell you in the first few sentences, don't be a hero, follow the tutorial, don't try to build it without. And I, just by looking at the PCB, I can basically say, yep, I'm definitely going, page by page through this manual. Otherwise, I will mess up. And
can I shoot a question in about the QMX?
Yes, sure. If I can answer.
Yeah, hopefully. That is CW and Digimode, isn't it? And no SSB.
Right. Yeah. There's a microphone on board, and maybe we'll get a firmware upgrade that can do SSB. But so far,
awesome.
It's Digimodes and CW, which is maybe, it's also incredible tiny. Maybe I can, I'll grab in a second the case and show you. I think it's there's way more parts than in the true SDX, and it's also very, very, very compact. Yeah, so that will be a very interesting build. So I'm looking forward to that.
It looks like it.
And the last one is I got one of these cheap USB inspection microscopes, not unpacked yet, but I thought, I think it has a display on the top, and it also has a HDMI connector, so that I can show what the camera sees. Unfortunately, I don't think it can show. You can use the display and have the HDMI connected at the same time. So as soon as you connect HDMI, it disconnects the built-in LCD panel. But let's see. That should also be useful because my eyes are also not getting better. So yeah, that's basically the plan for in terms of stuff to build over the holidays.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the QMX. And I kind of miss my QDX, but I hope it's got a good home down there. I guess it's my time now. First of all, welcome, Mihai. It's going to be great having you on. And as a segue, first time I met you was when you bought my QDX transceiver. And we ended up, I think we ended up chatting for a couple of hours when you came to pick that up. So it's really great to have you on here. Regarding my week, it's been kind of an on and off week. It's been a little bit busy at work, a couple of days, and then it's been a weekend off. And I think the last time I had a weekend off was in September. I think that was the field day weekend in September. So that has been strange. I don't really know what to do when I have a Saturday off. Still wondering when the band's coming on stage, what time doors are, what time load in, load out, and everything is. But it's been nice. Besides that, I've had no activation week, which is probably first for this year. Not doing a single activation in a week. But I have been playing around, and I'm going to do my usual overhead cam stuff. First of all, the Liligo TTWR transceiver here. Tested it as an APRS tracker. Only 1 watt, but works really nice. But it shows the importance of getting a digitator up in my area because I can't really use it at home. But that's probably what I'm going to use it for, though. Set it up as a digitator. I'm going to test that out over Christmas and see how that works. Besides that, I've been building what my wife calls the crucifix, or it's a G5RV. Never built a G5RV before, never tried it, so figured why not build one. And I had everything I needed at home, so I built that. And finally, as an illustration, because the resistor is not going to show up really good on camera, I just brought the meter as well, because my wife pointed out that the star on top of our Christmas tree is a little bit too bright. So I figured why not solder in a resistor on that in order to make the LEDs not be as bright. I'm not sure if she follows the idea, but we'll give it a little go and see. Make sure she's not at home when I fire up the soldering iron, which by the way has new tips. I finally replaced the tips on my soldering iron, and I can't figure out how I was able to solder before I changed the tips.
I have to say also, if anyone has the same problem as Morten with a star in their Christmas tree that's too bright, the Discord is chock full of good ideas of how to solve that problem. So just take a look. I think my favorite idea was just turning up the ambient lighting, and it's not gonna seem so bright. But yeah, for some reason, he didn't want to take my advice.
So let's see, where are we in the show? We're probably
we get back on topic.
Yeah, but we're not off topic yet. We've managed to stay on topic for 20 minutes. That is a first for us. But we've been talking about LoRa, or we're going to talk about LoRa, and I have not much of a concept, except it's a different kind of modulation, and you can use it in the ham world for APRS and for Meshtastic, I think, and probably a couple of other things. But that's why you're on, Mihai. So do you have a short intro on how LoRa is usable for hams and what kind of gear we need to get started?
Yes, I would like to share some pictures at least with you. Maybe
Yep.
give me just a second. We should work like copy and paste. Will work like that, or
the pictures, you can just use the % button down on the
yeah.
bottom of the StreamYard.
Let's see.
Share a window or share a screen, and you can show them yourself.
Like this.
Let's see here.
Yes, I
Yep.
can see what I'm doing. This is very important. So yeah, everybody probably knows this picture. With so basically we have to put LoRa a bit on the big picture with the other way of communication. This is one of the pictures that is important, and we just noticed that we are able to use basically low bandwidth for long and short distance. This is one of the idea of using LoRa, especially long distance, because the modulation and the forward error connection and the other things are just designed to be to have to cover long distances, to have a very nice link budget. This is one of the pictures. This is a table. Of course, it's a story here, and all the values and LoRa is compared with various flavors of Bluetooth, Zigbee, and Wi-Fi. We can see it's a major difference in between, let's say, Zigbee or regular Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Of course, it's a big difference in distance, and it's a way big difference in bandwidth, data rate. We're talking
Yep.
about, it's not about the channel capacity, it's about the low throughput of packets, in fact. That's the idea. So it's not like, it's not meant to transmit all the time. It's meant to have a low power sensor that it's just awake, I don't know, one out of, I don't know, 1 hour, on few seconds every hour or every few hours, send the packets to the gateway and go back to sleep. That's one of the use of these LoRa sensors. That's why we have this low data rate. The real data rate, it's a bit higher, but because of, you know, in time, the value it decreased because of the average. It's another picture, the same pretty much in use in many presentations, together with comparing with some other things. The same Zigbee, 4G, 5G. Here, the short distance is not in discussion because it's kind of, you know, understandable that if you can use it for long distance, you can use it for short.
Mm-hmm.
LoRa, it's a modulation, and there are different ways to pack that, to use that on a system. That's LoRaWAN and Sigfox and a few other things. And here, this is a bit, it's a bit better picture because it includes the satellite communications about the long distances and its energy efficiency against the range on this graphic. And yeah, comparing with satellite, LoRa, it's a bit shorter distances, but way more energy efficient.
Mm-hmm.
We can go very deep into the modulation and all those details, but I think it's a it's a PhD thesis there.
It is, and I can already see that this is way above what I am able to comprehend in a short amount of time. But for ham usage, what would a ham use LoRa for?
APRS probably is the the most the most known application at this point for this, because APRS network was kind of not very much in use during the last years, and this one is kind of giving a refresh to the way of people are using APRS. If you can imagine 30 years ago, when the APRS network was the only one capable of sending short messages, that at that point was a thing. After GSM started, SMS was not the problem. And now we are talking about energy efficiency and low power sensors and other things that can't be done with 4G and 5G.
Yeah.
And now it's back. Yes, so the APRS is a good application because we are using low power, 100 milliwatts electric for a tracker. That it's a low and it's kind of discrete presence in the car or in a backpack. Yep. The iGate are not so complicated. And yeah, this is one application. Let me show you a bit, pretty quick. There is a map with, of course, Tobias will be very happy with that. There is a map with LoRa iGates in the world.
Yeah, and I have a guess though that most of them are in Germany and Switzerland, at least from what I can see of the content I can find on YouTube on the subject. It's mostly in German.
Yes, it's yeah, and it's a serious thing. They started some years ago with that, and let me share again. LoRa APRS Direct, this one.
So maybe a quick question on the side. So LoRa, what does it stand for? Can you spell it out, or is it a brand name, or is it just the modulation? Because for me, it's all a bit mixed up when I go on the internet. It's not really clear what. I mean, it's like a buzzword, like WLAN. Yeah. So what really is it?
It means long range.
Okay.
That's from that one is LoRa as a name. LoRaWAN, it's a wide area network based on LoRa modulation, and there are some other flavors like Sigfox. They because there is a very nice statement about LoRa that the S in LoRa stands from security.
Yeah, I've seen some samples, or some of the things I googled about this was how to break into LoRa networks, or different types of proof of concepts on attacks on them. So I guess they're not hardened very much.
For like a professional level, for professional use, you need security, and you're competing with 4G or 5G. That's pretty good security. Or Tetra, it's a very good security.
I think for ham radio use, that's completely acceptable. That there's no security at all. We're not meant to encrypt things, and we're meant to keep it open. So for us, that's just perfect.
So is everybody just buying these readily available LoRa modules, or has anybody managed to, do it yourself, basically? Or how closed source knowledge is it?
On the beginning, most of the guys just built the iGates and the trackers from an ASP chip with Wi-Fi connection and few ports, and a LoRa chip. What you show here, it's a ready-made module with a battery on the backside, battery lithium-ion slot there, and the charging circuit. And this is very much used for trackers because it's having a GPS module and antenna on it.
I think I have it on my watch list in Amazon, but not bought yet.
Yeah, it's been on my watch list for a while too. But is this a good board to start with if you want to tinker with LoRa as a ham?
For a tracker, yes, I think it's a good thing. I have only one. I had a small, let's say, poor experience with this. At some point, when I was thinking to build a TinyGS, it's a network of receivers for LoRa satellites. Different bands. I built one in 433 megahertz in amateur band, and at that moment I had only this T-beam board. I use it. I managed to tweak the software and install it. Was working, but when I got the other one, the T3 version, the smaller one without battery slot and without GPS, the number of satellites just doubled.
Oh,
so it's a sensitivity problem, but it's not necessarily the chip itself. I didn't check it yet, but there is I got a suggestion from one of my friends regarding the noise that the battery charger could make in UHF. It's not easy to measure that, but you can use a software that it's usable for balloons with LoRa. That one is having some sort of spectrum analyzer, and you can see if that charging circuit is inducing some noise. Or of course you can disconnect the battery, work without. It's not a major problem, and see if you have better sensitivity.
So the T-beam, so just put it shortly, the T-beam is good for transmissions, but not necessarily receiving data. Is that a correct assumption to make?
At that specific situation, I found that sensitivity issue, but I didn't investigate it properly. So, you gotta remove the battery, you gotta measure somehow, and there is another interesting thing. The filter in front of those chips are not so fancy. I have some spots here. The Echolink spot is 1 watt, and it's 3 meters from the receiver. So I would say that can be a problem there. So you can influence the sensitivity very easy with some high power. 1 watt is not high power, but in 2 meters that can affect the sensitivity. This is how I think now.
Yep.
Could you do some sort of one-way iGate with, for example, an RTL SDR? Is there software that would support that, just for playing around? Or is it or should you have dedicated hardware for this?
So this one, I think the T-beam was designed having probably mesh tastic in head. That one, it's that application, that mesh tastic with the mesh interconnection with the other clients. That's probably what they had in mind when they designed the T-beam, and it's very good for a tracker.
Yeah.
For an APRS tracker. This is definitely very good, except we got to find out somehow how is that one working together with your VHF, UHF transceiver in the car.
Yeah. There are probably not much of filtering, as you said. Mike's got a question here that he presumes that you can use more power than the ISM band power limitations on 70 centimeters. And I guess that's a correct assumption, isn't it?
So again, in many situations, I saw guys using 1 watt on trackers. TechMinds, for example, on YouTube, it's just describing that setup is having on his car. I would say it's not really important. It's very important to have a very good position for the iGate and clean, RF-wise, clean.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, or maybe you just checked the map, I was living in Österås, and I had a very good position, very simple antenna, and I covered maybe 80% of Oslo from that point.
Okay, with just 100 milliwatts.
Yes. So simple board, the basic board, and the basic tracker with nothing else, just a small antenna on top of the car. lambda.
That is
Lambda.
actually not bad at all.
That
No,
is
no, and
very,
it's good
very
enough.
impressive, I think. So, but I think I'm looking at the what's called the radioamatørforskriften, which it's what Norwegian hams have to live by, and there is
Yep.
a 30 kilohertz bandwidth limitation on 70 SEMs, and I think LoRa quite strictly transmitting LoRa is wider than 30 kilohertz, isn't it, Mihai?
Yes, it's 125 kilohertz.
Yeah, so quite strictly, you wouldn't be allowed to use more than what's allowed within the ISM regulations, I think.
Yeah, 3 years.
I guess I was not supposed to share that picture yet, Kjetil.
Yeah, not completely, but one question there that would be relevant for this would be, is there any kind of overlap with commercial LoRa systems? Like, are they all on the same tiny part of the 433 band, or can you specify that you would like to broadcast somewhere else on the 70 centimeter band?
So it's a convention on these frequencies that we are using now on APRS on amateur radio bands. I would say it's random, but it's probably not that random.
Yeah.
The other ISM band is 868 megahertz in Europe and 915 in US.
Yeah.
The same ISM and the same power limitations all over.
Yeah.
Everybody. But again, by design, LoRa and LoRa devices are meant for very, very good power efficiency. So using high power, it's something else that's drag you out of the meaning. If you need more power, you can use other technology.
Yeah.
I think also if you're gonna place an iGate, let's say, then the choice of antenna and the choice of location would mean an awfully lot more than the power level of at any rate. So
Absolutely, and my experiments with the TTWR last week on conventional APRS has shown me that usually 1 watt is more than enough for traditional APRS, and this is a more efficient modulation. So I would guess 100 milliwatts would work fine.
The link budget on LoRa it's way different than analogic VHF or FSK, like simple modulation. It's way different. It's like so in LoRa, the demodulator is meant to work until minus 20 SNR, so 20 decibel under the noise floor. You can't have that one in any other way on any other modulation.
No. And by that you are, I mean, you're in FT8 territory almost.
Yes,
regarding signal to noise levels.
That is true. But Mihai, did you have a map of the iGates?
Yeah, I have one map. I will send a link to you. Just please put that.
Or just share it, maybe.
Yes, it's here. Open it in a browser, share it, please, and you will see how LoRa APRS looks like in the world. Yeah,
I am going to share it right now. I just got to find the right window here to share.
Yeah, I had the same problem.
Let's see. I think it's this one. Yeah.
If Morten can't figure it out.
I am a middle-aged man with technology, but as you can see, LoRa APRS is highly a German thing.
Yes, and it's they start with LoRa, I would say 5 years ago, when it was pretty expensive to have an iGate.
Yeah.
At that point, 300 or 400 euro was a must for an iGate. There is one guy, probably you know the guy. It's the guy with the Swiss accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andreas, he started, I think he's having 2 or 3 years old YouTube movies about how to build an iGate. A lot of good explanations. When I had the iGate in Oslo, I had only one. That one is mine.
Yeah.
Were just one, the one I had in Oslo and the other one in Bergen. That 6 months ago, we had only 2. But for some reason, I was in Bergen, but I did not manage to reach that one.
I have some ambitions that I am probably going to spend some money by the end of this stream and get some hardware for an iGate up and running here. I guess that is at least some of my ambitions today, and I actually have a bit of a plan to both use the Liligo TTWR board and the and some kind of board for LoRa to make a double iGate and APRS digipeater, and put it up at one location, seal them both up in one box, and perhaps solar power it or something so it can stay at a good location.
You can use the LoRa module for some things. For example, you can measure the battery level, and you can have it on APRS.FE, the
Yep.
battery level in volts. You can do that with a resistive divider. Very simple. It's integrated in the software. So there are few versions. I'm using the old one because I did not manage to install the Ricardo latest one. So you can do that with the LoRa module, easy. And I would say it's not so important to spend too much money on fancy antennas.
Yeah. So what is I guess any 70 centimeters quarter wave vertical would probably work good for this.
Oh, you're gonna be surprised. And I can show you what kind of antenna I'm using. I made some G poles out of electrical cable.
That's
that cheap.
Yeah, but the J poles they're fantastic antennas for the simplicity of the build.
So very basic J poles and some plumbing elements. And let me find a way to share some pictures.
What is a good board if you want to start with a good board for an iGate?
For the iGate, I think if you're going to liligo.cc, the website.
I am going to do that straight away.
How do you spell it?
It's here on the chat.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to put it up here.
Can you share that link with our viewers as well?
I just have a lot of windows open, so I just gotta put it somewhere where I can find it. Let's see here. There we go. And I mean that is cheap to get an iGate running.
Yes, this is enough.
So for the full package though, $45, 15 for this and $30 for the T-beam, and you can be up and running with both a tracker and an iGate. That is not that is cheap to get started in any aspect of this hobby.
Yeah. And I think they have a local warehouse in Germany, so the delivery will not take weeks. It's also a nice thing with these guys.
I have a feeling I'm going to do some shopping later on.
Accidental.
I ran out of this small board, so I have to buy the same few of them.
Not accidental at all. I guess I am going to do this completely on purpose because I've been thinking about this for a while. And this seems like a cheap way to get this going and playing with the technology. And since you have a couple of boards on the way, Bob, we might have a network up running around the Oslo Fjord pretty soon. In addition to your digipeater, Mihai.
Unfortunately, I don't have a good position here for now. So my dream was to install it at the Lima Alpha 1 Tango Club, if we can, because that position is very good. And it's kind of low profile. I will send you some pictures just to have an idea. It's low profile, but we need a bit of energy and a bit of Wi-Fi in order to have an iGate. Yep. Otherwise, we can have a digipeater without internet connection.
And this is going to be a Norwegian specific question and might be relevant for others as well, because in order to run a unmonitored digipeater in Norway, you need a special license and a special call sign for that. Does that apply to LoRa as well?
If you're not using your ham, if it's too wide for what you're allowed to send on ham bands, then you're not covered. I can't see how you'll be covered by that law, basically. then you're under fribruktsforskriften.
Basically, as long as you're legally using the ISM band, then there's no requirements for call sign.
Yeah.
But if you're then transmitting something that will be broadcast onwards towards normal APRS, then you're in some sort of gray zone.
But there will be an intermediate between. You will not transmit directly, so that will go via the APRS IS.
Yeah.
So that's strictly not your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I guess our bulletproof legal advice is here: consult your local laws and regulations before you do any of this.
yeah, you send an email to Hans and you get an answer, basically.
Yeah, but that would be very weird
yeah.
to not be able to run a digipeater at that power.
Yeah, I am nonetheless going to get a digipeater, or the club is going to get a digipeater call sign here. So I guess I can use perhaps the same call sign for both. Lee's got a question about the gain of a J-pole over a vertical dipole.
I should know this. I'm looking it up now.
There is no. I would say there is no gain. It can be a gain because it's the same half lambda in total, but it's a difference in how to handle that. It's one thing to end fed one antenna or to feed it in the middle. Two different things.
Yeah.
When you're thinking to waterproof, for example, low power waterproof, I would say the J-pole is better.
The thing is, a normal vertical will be a quarter wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, but J-pole is not quarter wave.
No, J-pole is a half wave, and the half wave has a much narrower field of radiation in the horizon, so that will give it clearly better gain over a quarter wave dipole. I would guess it's comparable to a quarter wave dipole with elevated radials.
But the question here, are you talking about a quarter wave vertical then, Bob?
Yeah, a dipole would be a antenna.
But the question is the gain of a half wave dipole or a half wave J pole, and as far as I understand, the gain should be the same.
Kind of.
Yeah, true. I misunderstood the question. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
that would basically be the same, but much nicer to feed, as Mihai says. It's much easier to feed the J pole.
And end-fed antennas are always easier to feed.
Yep.
So, and Stuart's got some clarification here as well. And it's practically the same as we've been saying, though. It's just a half-wave vertical antenna nonetheless.
Yeah. What I'm seeing here for the commercial gear that's mounted around the city here, depending on where you are, it's either a small vertical antenna, like a commercial grade, or it's Yagi antenna. But that's mostly the things that like they put somewhere far away, some sort in the valley or something, and they need to have some good gain in a specific direction.
Absolutely. Yeah, but that wouldn't be practical for APRS, though, with a directional antenna.
No, that's for sensors.
Yeah.
So I'm still sharing that page with all of the commercial equipment, if that's interesting to share as well.
I'm going to put that up. William asked about us.
Yeah, we can also William here about the turnstile antenna. I think that's if you're doing 70 SMs for satellites, that might be a good idea. But if you're doing terrestrial communication, then there's no point in doing the turnstile antenna, would be my guess.
I would guess that would overcomplicate rather simple. Well, that's the ham way of doing it, though. So
I can see the problem there.
I'm going to add your webpage here, Kjetil, and that was actually the same webpage as I was reading.
Yeah, this one. I didn't take what that was, but like this seems too overcomplicated for an LoRa 1 tracker. But that's my...
That would be a good one.
Yeah, 100 milliwatt will do well with that one, right?
You could cook dinner on 100 milliwatts with that antenna. So.
Yeah, but I've been blabbering a bit about like that with commercial use for this as well, because we do have a lot of it around here. The cities, or like urban area I live in, is part of the what they call the Nordic Smart City Network. So they got LoRa 1 set up in 2017. So that's 6 years ago. So they've been running that. And they're doing a lot of sensor stuff like normal water gauges, water meters. This is for gritting sand. They have small ultrasonic detectors. So they, instead of like driving around and then seeing if there's sand left there, they'll get a message saying they have to refill it. Litter boxes, like if you live in a residential area, then you have some like common big garbage cans, and all of those communicate via LoRaWAN. I believe some of the newer ones go to 5G, but like still, it's everything there is interconnected, and that's it's interesting to see how much data they're collecting. And LoRaWAN has been one of the big drivers there. So there's a lot of commercial equipment you can get. So these are the gateways, like you can buy. I think this is a somewhat local store. Yeah, local.
And those are Norwegian kroner, right?
Yeah, so divide by 10.
Divide by 10 for euros or US dollars. That is not the same kind of equipment as we're talking about.
No. So this is absolutely commercial grade equipment. So 2,500 euros would do well, but you can get, I don't know how many of the T things you could get for that, but quite a few. But they also have a lot of gauges. So like if you were talking about doing some solar stuff, so they have then down here some solar measurement, temperature measurement, actually controllers, so that there's communication in both directions here. So there is a lot of commercial stuff. But to learn this, of course, having something fun to play with is always good to have something fun and cheap.
But I have questions here to the network in your smart city. Are you able to observe what's going on the network, and can you decode when the box outside is out of gritting sand?
I sincerely hope not.
That's strictly not what I asked, but okay.
and more importantly, are you able to inject data into that network?
That's the magic.
Yeah, I know that we had a summer student project 4 or 5 years ago at work where they were using LoRaWAN to track parking spots and electric car chargers, like in our parking lot. And I think they wanted and was able to go through the public network for that. But I'm not sure if that means they could decode everything or if it's still the same. Because that was just like off the shelf. There was some random eBay stuff they bought and set up.
Because I think that would be really cool if, let's say, I needed to go out and nick some gritting sand. I could just check the LoRaWAN network to see which boxes are full.
Yeah, but you can see that on the public web page. Like all
you can.
Yeah, all public data or all official data is public data, you know. So you have access to all of this, or should have access to all of this.
And speaking that way, it's probably a good way checking the website, but it's not the ham way. The ham way would be receiving the data and interpreting it yourself.
Absolutely, and seeing what you can do with it. But still, it's in a non-destructive way, of course. That would be the ham way.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I'm a lot smarter regarding LoRa now than I was 50 minutes ago now. So
yeah, and I think at least two of us are about to get rid of some money to get some hardware in hand. To do something. I have just a question about because we were talking about positions and antennas and all that. Mihai, what would you say just a digipeater for LoRa APRS? What would be the energy usage for such a device? Could you run that year round on solar, you think, in Norway?
Yes.
Because that would be a very cool project.
We gotta think what's happened during the winter, and probably we have to do some mathematics there. But I would say yes, because the power is on an iGate is 5 volt and something 50 milliamps, 100 milliamps in total. So it's half watt, 1 watt, let's say.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, but I had a very interesting thing last time I was at the cabin because I set up that new solar panel there this summer, 350 watts. And now when like the sun is low on the sky, it's 9 degrees above the horizon. And at max on a clear day, I got 15 watts output from that.
That's good. In Sweden was 0.
Hmm?
In Sweden, one of my friends, I was talking some hours ago, 0, nothing.
I guess like the next week is gonna be the sun is visible for like 2 hours, so you have to have a really oversized panel to run it during winter or good batteries.
Yeah.
Look at the
Oslo
bright
is one.
side. It's only going to get better after next week, so you're going to be okay.
That's true.
That's
I have a solar panel in the garage. It's standing unused. That would be a fantastic project for it. For just finding the tallest tree around and climbing as tall, as far up as I dare, and putting up a digipeater with a solar panel. That would be fun.
Absolutely. I just since we're nearing the end of the stream here, I forgot something in my segment, and that was getting back to Walt's video about advertising and sponsors and everything. And I just want to touch base on that on the stream as well, if that's okay with you guys.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Because I didn't take the same extreme stand as you did, Walt. I'm still going to accept sponsored content on my videos, but my decision was to get more transparent on it and also show the really bad products that I've received, like $300 radios that feels like a toy when you open the box.
Yeah.
And I haven't shown those off yet, and I want to, because my philosophy used to be that I only want to show the good stuff and be transparent that way. But that's not really being transparent, though, if you can't call out a manufacturer for actually producing really overpriced, really bad stuff. And that's going to be my stand on it. And hope, well, I guess that's going to let me to lose some promotional things, but I really would really much rather have the good stuff and show that off and show the good manufacturers off than all of the Chinese garbage.
I think it's
honestly.
I think it's such a great move, Morton. I'll tell you, I was talking to somebody actually today, Tech Minds, who I always thought was just amazing and just one of the most incredible. I love his stuff and everything. But if over, I was 5 or 6 months ago, he did that video on that tri-band USDX. You remember that video, Morton?
Yeah.
He lost me. I just kind of lost. He lost credibility with me over that, and I wonder. I still, to look back on it this day, I think he did it because it was given to him for free. That is the biggest piece of crap radio I've ever seen in my life.
It could have been, Walt. It could have been that you got a bad radio and he got a good one. Yeah.
No, but YouTube's been kind of agreeing upon that is a crappy radio, though.
Oh, right.
So it could be like the typical trick of sending a perfect one for pre-production. But
maybe.
still, that is still bad with marketing.
If you take that stuff, even if they're giving you good stuff, you're going to have people that you're going to lose credibility with, the people that are bought the bad stuff. You know what I mean? If you're out there hawking that stuff, you're getting the good stuff, talking about how great it is, showing how great it is, and somebody goes out and loses money. I mean, like
exactly.
Yeah, just like that. Important that you have. I have one too. I have a good one. You have a good one. There's so many people out there that say they have bad ones, and I make a point of that when I say, "Hey, I lucked out. I really lucked out on this radio because I hear there are bad ones out there." You got to put that out there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And at least I've been meaning to mention that in my videos. Right now, I'm not really sure if I did, but that radio could be a gamble. And I bought mine used because I could have someone confirm that a radio was working as it should.
That might be the way to buy something like that. Actually, I mean, I'm right now. I've been looking at that PMR 171, that 20-watt radio. The basically the field radio with a built-in battery, which is just the Q900 in a different box. If you look at the front of it, and I posted in the community this past week, and I've got nothing but horrible comments about.
I read that thread, Walt. Take their advice. Take their advice.
Right, but that's the reason why I want to go down that road. And I'm just going to buy one, and I can go and be as honest as I can be about it. I'm not going to get a special one that they loaded up and made perfect for me or whatever. I'll probably buy a Q900 and go out and use it because, you guys know, I love 20 watts HF. And then that's why I wanted one with a built-in battery that I could just basically hook an antenna up on it and go and see. But and that's one of the reasons why, too. But
Yeah, and what you're saying about loaded products, though, I listen to the Ham Radio Crash Course podcast every week because I drive 2 hours every day back and forth to work, so I need the really long 3-hour podcast. So that's why I listen to both the Ham Radio Workbench and the Ham Radio Crash Course. And Josh said that he had actually plans to buy anonymously buy the same product that he gets sponsored, in order to see if the products he gets are doctored, and that might be a way to call out the bad actors.
Yeah,
That might
just
be.
got in mind, like if you have some sort of contract. I've seen some contracts for sponsored products that have been truly appalling. You have to do specific things in the contract to actually get the product in the first order. So there's something to watch out for as well. And I guess at least fresh YouTubers would probably fall for something like that.
Yep.
That, it's like me being an American, and you guys know it. It's okay to say it. Most American ham tubers are all salesmen. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that. They are. I hate to say it. They're in it as we say in the States, to make a buck. And you got guys that like making a video every day or every other day, and it's about Amazon deals and what this is and that other, and that's fine. I mean, they're making a living off of it or whatever. I kind of want to be that guy that doesn't do that. And there are a few of us here that don't do that. I mean, and I like those guys as well. But I could see as the emails kept rolling in every day with offers, it went beyond a product. It was compensation, money compensation on a lot of emails I was getting, and I was like, nah. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to become those guys. I'm just not.
Exactly. And I know at least one of the big YouTubers has said that he's taking a break from sponsored content now.
Yeah.
But I've only seen him posted on Discord and on our Discord as well. So if you want to see who it is, please do join our Discord server, because I'm not going to call him out since he hasn't posted anything official about it except for Discord.
Yeah. So, but if you're talking about like products that can look bad as well, a radio that for me would have looked horrible if I did review on the first one I got was the G90.
Yeah.
It lasted for about 15 seconds and then it just said poof.
Wow.
Yeah, that was.
Whereas I bought mine 2.5 years ago. And it is my all-time favorite radio. That thing is, man, you guys see in my videos. Mine's been dropped in the sand. It's kind of wet in the rain. It's everywhere, and it's sandblast and everything else, and it just keeps on going. It's like, I got a good one,
Yeah, I got, but this was one of the first ones. And then after that, the replacement I got 3 months later, that was perfect, and it's still that. So it's like you can be unlucky as well, but
that goes with any radio. You can buy a AC radio for 50 grand Norwegian and get a bad
absolutely
deal. Yeah.
And with Saigu products, you probably shouldn't buy any of those the first year and be the beta tester for it.
And
that is true.
On products, like right now, if you just went onto YouTube and typed in Zygu X6200 and look at all the videos are out, and no one even knows what that radio is.
It was fun to see like all of the videos, and you can see forum posts everywhere, new photos, and it was just the same rendered ones. But of course,
I gotta say, I'm still not convinced that is a real radio. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I remember when the X6100 came out, everybody, the same suspects, the same cast of characters that were doing videos on the X6100, and that wasn't out yet either. So it's probably coming. But
I gotta give T.O. some credit on that though, because he and Ham Radio Dude took the 6100 apart. They rooted it. They they explored everything about this radio.
Yep.
And I mean, for Saigu to have such a bad root password, that's a whole different story. But
no, that wasn't that password 123 or something like that?
It was 123.
Yeah, 123 without password. That was amazing.
Pretty radio. All I can say good about the X6100.
Oh, I loved mine, but I just wanted more than 10 watts, so that's why I sold mine.
I've got mine. I use it, but I hate the fact that I had to get a speaker for it. I've got to have a battery hooked up to it to get the 10 watts. I mean, this should be a self-contained radio. If it's got a battery in it, it should be able to do 10. I know there's a mod, but it's not, but
But if you're complaining about the speaker, you should not try the RU1C, what it's called, the Russian firmware for it, because they'll make the speaker even lower in volume.
Right.
Yeah,
That radio to me I've got one. I use it. It's okay. I don't hate it, but to me it was a fail for Zygo, and it really was. I have the X5105. That's a much better radio. It's a 5-watt radio, but I bought it as a 5-watt radio. I knew it was a 5-watt radio. I didn't buy it to be a 10-watt radio that won't do 10 watts.
Yeah.
I think we're already way past.
We are in overtime.
Yeah.
So on that note about the 6100 being not a 10-watt radio, we got to say that we will not be back next week.
Nor the
That's
week
right.
Next
after.
week's Christmas Eve.
And the
2
week
weeks
after is New Year's.
Yeah, so we'll be having 2-week Sunday break, but a couple of us guys have talked about streaming sometime between Christmas and New Year. So we'll see if we can make
We'll be
that
back
happen.
in January for season 2.
Yeah. We've survived through an entire season of the European Ham Radio Show, and it's been a good metric season for us.
Yeah, when did
Absolutely.
we start? Like, was that June something? No, May, perhaps?
May,
think-
June, somewhere around that.
This is episode 30, so that's 30 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is nice. And thanks for everybody that's subscribed and everything. We got 150 subscribers now. That's probably going to drop immediately after saying that. But it is fun to see the same group of people showing up here for chatting, and people being active in Discord, and people coming here sharing of your time, like Mihai is doing now, coming here sharing a Sunday evening, sharing about some interesting topic. That is really nice, I think.
Helping us spend our money.
Yeah.
More money.
And I gotta say one more thing though, because yesterday I had my 3-year hamiversary. I'm
Congratulations.
one of those pesky COVID hams.
Yeah, congrats.
Congratulations.
So on that note, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back in January for season 2 and have probably some kind of between seasons show, but we're not making any promises. Enjoy Christmas, enjoy New Year's, enjoy probably some time off for a lot of you guys. Until next time, 7-3.
7-3, guys.
3.
Bye.